Hey guys, it's G. In this video, I'm actually going to go through step 2 of the Maverick isolation test. Now, the purpose of this step is to actually verify to see if you may have an issue with, or you may have the beginnings of an issue of domain reputation. So first and foremost, what we're going to actually do is we're going to double check both the IP and the domains to make sure they're not listed anywhere. So basically what you would do is you would go to your multi-RBL website and you would just input both the IP and the domain. Now I've already done this. Previously. So here you'll see the result of this IP and you'll notice that it's on 3 blacklists, but nothing major. Again, very minor, very minor listings, nothing to be concerned with. So definitely you're not listed on a blacklist, so you can continue on to the next step, which is basically remove the offer links from the actual creative itself, and then you would redeploy your message to your test seeds and wait for the results and record them on in this column actually. So what you would basically do is, here you go, I have a copy of the actual source code. Now don't be afraid of the source code. Definitely, understanding HTML is not mandatory for an email marketer, but you should understand what you should be doing in this particular exercise. So for this particular exercise, what you need to do is remove all the offer links. So to ensure that you're removing all the offer links, what you want to do is you want to find all of the hrefs is what you want to do. So in this particular case, I should have multiple hrefs, but let me actually go here. Okay, let's see how many occurrences we have, right? Okay, we have over 78 occurrences of hrefs, which means, well, this is for a daily deal, so that makes sense. Okay, so you're gonna have to remove all 78. Now you can easily do this with a text editor. Just find replace all and just remove it, and it'll automatically replace all 78. It'll remove all 78 hrefs. Then you would basically copy paste it back into your HTML editor on your ESP, and then you would basically redeploy it not as a test message but as a scheduled message. I do believe I did make a note of that in the ebook, that every time you send out a test message, you should be deploying it as a broadcast and not in the test message feature. That's very important. Main reason for that is when you sometimes do send it from the test message feature, you could be sending it from a different pool of IPs. Sometimes ESPs do that just because of the fact that they may have a backlog in delivery, so they want to ensure that if you're doing tests, that your tests are received fairly quickly. The problem is that can kind of deviate some of your results a little bit. It's not going to give you a true metric of your delivery. So again, you want to remove all the hrefs for this one, and you want to deploy it as a broadcast, as a scheduled message, and then you're going to wait for the results. When you do receive the results, you want to go back to your Maverick isolation test, and you basically want to note here if it was spammed or inboxed. If it's spammed, this means that you're going to have to go on to the next step, which basically means you're going to have to remove the unsub link. So just like you did for the offer link, you're going to go back into your message and you're going to remove the unsub link, and you're going to redeploy your message. Now there's some ESPs out there that do not allow you to remove their unsub link. It's automatically defaulted. However, there are some that do give you the ability to remove it or not. If you have that ability, do remove it. If you don't, then go on to basically the next step, which is change links. Now, the reason why we're doing all this is for the very simple fact of, again, the Maverick isolation test is there to isolate every variable in an effort to see what could be causing your spamming issues. And the whole point of this is once you start getting a lot of complaints or there's something wrong with your email, the ISP will begin to map that particular creative. And once something gets mapped, then at that point, no matter what message you keep sending them, it'll constantly keep spamming because if something in the actual creative is triggering a filter. Again, it could be creative, could be your sending domain. We don't know. This is the whole point of the Maverick isolation test. So let's just say now you received the results of the unsub link. So again, you removed the unsub link, you deployed it, and you received your results, and still you are spamming. So you're going to note that. Spam. Okay, so next you're going to move on to change links. So what this basically means is, just like you did with removing the offer links, what you're going to basically do is you're going to change the links within the actual message. So what you're going to do is all those 78 occurrences that you had, you're going to put in a new link in there. Now, depending on the type of links that you're actually, well, at least depending on the links that you have in your email message, could be offer links, could be website links. I'm not really sure what they are, but what you want to basically do is, if they are offer links, meaning you're driving traffic to a particular product for sale. Now, if you're grabbing these links off a network, or maybe you have your own domain set up for your redirect links, what you basically want to do is you want to change that link. So if you are working with a network, typically what you want to ask them is for a new unique redirect link. So they'll supply you with a new redirect link, which means now you'll have all new links. So you're going to take that new link and you're going to put it back into your actual email template. So as we recorded before, there was 78 occurrences of Ahrefs. So you're going to basically copy paste the new link into those 78 spots, basically. And if you don't have a redirect, if you don't have a unique or new redirect link, what you can do is try it with an authority site. So again, the whole point of this is to see if your domain is causing the issue, if your domain reputation is causing the issue. So one of the things you can do, as I said before, is the whole point of this is for us to test. So if you're not able to get a unique link, a brand new unique link, and you don't have any other redirect links, then use a authority site. Use any authority site. Could be, I don't know, USA.com, something that's relatively very, very well known that would get little complaints. So, okay, so in this case, let's just pretend we have a new redirect link. You're going to copy and paste it into your template, and you're going to redeploy. So let's just say at this point, we did actually inbox, right? You changed the links, right? The template's the same. You changed the links, and just by changing the links now, you were able to inbox, let's just say. So if you're able to inbox, that's great, because now you know what could have been causing the issue, which means that one of the links was flagged. So this will give you a good indication of how to resolve the issue, and obviously what you need to do is just change all the links within your email and keep testing, redeploy, and you'll get back into the inbox. If you did not hit the inbox and you're still hitting spam, what you basically want to do is go on to the next step, which is remove the images. So removing images, just like the Ahrefs, very, very simple. What you're going to do is you're just going to look for images, and in this case there's over 32 images. So if there's over 32 images, you're going to remove all the images. Now obviously when you remove the images, your template might be a little skewed, but again, what we're trying to figure out here is what's causing the filter, what's causing the block. And as I said before, there are a lot of things that can get mapped within an email. Links, images, especially images, can get you blocked very, very quickly depending on where they're being hosted. So again, once you remove the images, you'll send a test. And what you can do is, when you get the results, again, if you inbox, that's great. That means you have an image issue, which means that chances are that wherever your images are being hosted, it's being blocked. So you might want to find a new image hoster, or maybe remove it off the ESP, or maybe have a template with no images. So those would be a couple of different options if the results of this particular test did result in inbox. So let's just say for this particular instance that you did not inbox and that you spammed. So if you did spam, you're going to record that on your isolation test, and you're going to move on to part B of step 2, which is changing the prefix to the domain. Now, the prefix of the domain in this instance, we can tell is mail, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to come up with at least a minimum of 5 different prefixes. And they could be anything. It could be customer service, could be response, could be reply, anything that's different from mail. So what you're going to do is you're going to record all these 5 different domains, and these are going to be obviously 5 different test messages. So before you actually test this, you're going to have to set it up in your ESP. Now, depending on the ESP, some allow you to do this, others do not allow you to do this. If they do not allow you to do this, then I recommend you continue on to step 3, and if you still don't have a resolution to your step 3, then go back to the step 2B, changing the prefix of the domain, and ask your ESPs to actually change the prefix for you so that you can test. Most ESPs will actually let you do that if they do not allow you to do it yourself. So that could always be an option. But unfortunately, time sometimes is of the essence, and you need to still continue testing. So you can't always rely on your ESP. That's the whole point of this test, right? So what you're going to do here is you're going to have your 5 different prefixes. So let's just say in this example, I have test 2, test 3, test 4, test 5, test 1, right? So those are my prefixes. So let's just say I've tested every single one of them. Every single one of them came back as spam, except for test 1. Test 1 came up as inbox, let's just say, right? So we're going to say spam. Spam. Spam, 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 and we're going to say inbox. Okay, so if this is inbox, this is great, right? Which means that we've gone through all these tests, we went through step 1, we got through it. Step 2 now basically tells us that, okay, we may have an issue with our sending domain, right? Changing the prefix of the domain is a very good indication that you may have. It's actually one of the first signs of letting you know that you may have an issue with your actual sending domain, your reputation. So that's definitely something you might want to look at afterwards. But in the interim, now that you actually know what's wrong, you can try to fix it and move forward, at least with this. So now that you know that test 1, now that you've replaced the prefix of the domain, you can continue to test. You can continue to test with this particular one, but as I said before, you definitely want to start looking at your email best practices if that's the case. Now again, if you spammed in this particular case, let's just say you didn't inbox and you spammed, you would have to unfortunately go on to step 3. So step 3 will actually take care of that in the next video.